guys, Hector here for the Schedule Skipper bonus module. In this module, we're going to talk about how to get her to skip her schedule, hence Schedule Skipper. Clever. Okay, so there's 3 parts when it comes to getting her to skip her schedule. First of all, you have to know that it is skippable, because some things you're just not going to get her to skip. Then you need to know that you need to give her a better deal. There has to be a reason she's going to skip one thing to go for another. We're always, think of opportunity cost. It's one way to think of it. Doing this costs this and will give me this. Well, doing this costs not doing this, but it gives me this instead. So your alternative to get her to skip her schedule for you needs to be an amazing deal. And thirdly, you need to either do a soft sale or a hard sale, because if this potentially fails, and it will sometimes because you're not going to perfectly sell it, what are the consequences of it? Because when you try to get a girl to skip her schedule to spend time with you now on an instant date, instead of just playing it normal where you get her number and then you text her and you have a date with her, which we'll go over in a different bonus module. I'll teach you how to text her to get a date. When you do this, if you fail, I've noticed that a lot of times they don't end up texting me back. The reason this is because you have kind of already shot your shot. You've already run out of juice. There's only so much a girl is willing to give you until she has a more serious relationship with you or is more bonded with you. You're just a random stranger. You need to always remember that. And so you only have so much room to mess with before she kind of just goes, maybe he's not worth meeting, because she has no connection with you. So you want to make sure you don't use all of your chances up before you even had the chance to actually get with her. So the first way to avoid possibly doing that is to ask yourself, could I get her to skip this or not? So some things that are really unskippable, it's like a serious family obligation or work. She's not going to get fired just to go on a little date with you, right? Something that is serious but not so serious, maybe like class. You don't have to go to every class depending on what class it is. If she's meeting a friend, well, maybe you go with her, right? There's creativity here. I wouldn't recommend it, but it could be fun. Who knows? I've done it. It's an adventure. But maybe you could convince her to spend time with you. If it's one of her close friends that she always sees all the time and they're just having their daily coffee, okay, it's probably something she could skip. If it's a friend that she hasn't met in a year and they're going to see each other, okay, well, you're probably not going to get her to skip that. What is skippable? Well, aside from work or something absolutely mandatory, you want to think anything is skippable, and you can have some fun with it, and you can experiment and go for it. But the way that you find out whether it's skippable or not is to try, but also you need to screen for her logistics. You have to know what she's up to now before you go for an instant date, because we're doing this to have an instant date. So before you go for that, it's good to know if there's even room for you to do that. Because if you get a no, you're kind of using some of that juice that you only have a limited supply of. So one way to know this is, well, you ask her the golden question. They tell you how to ask girls when you're talking to them. And that's, what are you up to now? And what are you up to later? The second golden question. So these golden questions are going to give you something to talk about, but also they're going to give you her logistics, her plans. So if you see that she says, I'm going to run errands, I got to go do my laundry and this, okay, it doesn't sound that serious, I can get her to skip it. If it's something like work, just think, okay, well, it would be great to try and seduce a girl out of work to spend time with you and quit her job to run off with you into the sunset. That'd be nice, but it's probably not going to happen. Okay, cool. Skippable. Let's go to the next step. You got to give her a better alternative, something to do that will make her have a great day, an adventure, fun time, instead of this boring thing that she's going to do now, like laundry. Okay, how you sell that to her is going to be your enthusiasm and your fundamentals, the way that you express yourself, and also because she really likes you. You could be as persuasive of a salesman as you can, but if she doesn't want you in the first place or want the product in the first place, if you're selling a product and you are selling yourself, well, she's not going to buy you, right? Sell me this pen. Well, you have to need a pen in the first place to want to buy it, right? So if she is receiving you well, she's responding to you well, she's smiling, she's giggling, she's laughing, she's really enjoying herself, okay, there's room for there to be a persuasion. So you have a good base to start from. If she's not so excited about you, you're probably not going to get an instant date. It's probably just going to make her feel like you don't get her emotions at all, and she's going to be even less likely to text you later when you text her. So if she really likes you, okay, cool, I got some room to work with. Now I need to sell it well. So are you going to go for the soft sell or the hard sell? So the soft sell is going to be much more casual. You're just going to go for it once and kind of just throw it out there, and then you're going to feel it out. Then the hard sell, you can go from a soft sell to a hard sell, and you transition to that because you see that there is some negotiation room. So let's start with the soft sell first. So the soft sell is when you just softly throw out the suggestion that she skips her schedule to hang out with you. So you're talking, she says she has to run errands, nothing too serious. She seems to be liking you, she's smiling, she's laughing. Okay, cool. Well, hey, why don't you skip that? We can have some coffee. You just toss it out there, right? Or you can even ask it in a question, be like, well, why don't you just skip it? Would you rather do something fun instead? There's many different ways that you can phrase this, but you just lightly throw it out there. Then she says, oh, you know, I haven't done laundry in a week, I don't have any clean clothes, da-da-da-da-da. Okay, it's not a firm no, but it doesn't seem like she's thinking about it. But if you say that and then she goes, I mean, yeah, that would be cool, but, you know, I really got to do, okay, there's some room to work with. If it's in the middle but leaning towards a yes, or if she seems really uncertain about saying no and she kind of just wishes it can happen, but oh, you know, I got to do my thing, okay, then you go into the hard sell. But if she just really just casually dismisses it and she's like, no, I really got to do this, you can hear it in her tone of her voice and in her facial expressions, then just leave it alone. Be like, oh, okay, you know, it would have been a fun adventure, but I get it. You know, I'll text you and we can have coffee a different time. Then what you did was you went for it, but you didn't go so far that you used up all your juice. So you still have room to work with, so later on she's less likely to think, yeah, that guy was pushy and he tried to get me to see him right now and, you know, what, I had stuff to do, okay? She's not even gonna remember that. She's gonna be like, oh, that was cute about how he tried to get me to come out with him now. Okay, yeah, I'll text him, ta-da. So if she does show some room though for negotiation, then you can go into the hard sell. And you can immediately go into the hard sell if you want, if you're just really feeling it, or if she's in town for only that day and she has some plans, but she's only going to be in town for the day. Okay, well, then you got to go for the hard sell regardless because chances of you seeing her are super low. So when you go into the hard sell, what you're going to be doing is taking this idea of you got to give her the better alternative, and you're really selling it. You're selling it hard, hence the hard sell. So the way that you sell it hard is enthusiasm, passion. You can do it in a slow, like calculated way, or you can do it in a very excited way. I tend to do it more in the excited way. So she says, there was one example actually where years ago I was on a college campus and there was a girl and I met her and I texted her after I met her and I said, hey, are you actually free right now? And she said, yeah, actually I'm at the library. I said, okay. And I went to go meet with her because I just finished hanging out with a student, but he had met a girl that he likes. So I was like, all right, I want to go talk to that girl who I knew really liked me. She had given me good signals. So I met with her outside the library. I was like, oh, hey, what are you up to? She's like, oh, you know, I'm just doing a little studying before class. And I said, oh, when do you have class? And she's like, oh, it's in like 30 minutes or whatever. So I said, okay, I only have so much time. So I was spending time with her and we really started to bond. And I could tell that she really, really liked me. Then before she was about to go to class, she's like, oh, okay, I got to get going in a little bit. I was like, well, why don't you stay? And she's like, well, I can't. This class is really important, actually. I've skipped a lot of it, which I remember she said, this is important. I've skipped a lot of classes, but I can't really skip anymore because then I'm in danger of actually getting a lower grade because I've skipped so many. So I had a decision to make. It probably would have been more respectful and kind of me to let her go to class and not risk her grade. But at the same time, it seems she doesn't take the class too seriously. And the way that she said it was, yeah, there's consequences to me not going. But based on her past actions, it's obviously not that serious to her. And the way she said it was she was pretty on the fence about it. She didn't really care that much. It just seemed like a obligation that she wished she didn't have. Okay. There's room to negotiate here. And I just went to town. I was like, well, look, I mean, we just met each other and we randomly passed each other on the sidewalk, and you know, we had a great connection where, you know, we locked those eyes, and I gave you a compliment, and I mean, I don't know, I really like you, you like me. And she's like, yeah, you know, this is interesting, you're very different, and da da da. I was like, okay, well, you know, like, we shouldn't let this opportunity pass. There's going to be times when you're giving these lines and they're going to come off cheesy, or you're going to feel like, is this even going to work? While I was doing it, I was like, all right, this isn't going to work. She's not going to possibly, get a lower grade in the entire class just to hang out with me. But you don't know. You really like her and find her beautiful. She could feel the same way about you. Girls are just excited about you as you are about them sometimes. So believe it. You can't sell something unless you believe it, and I believed it. Well, I kind of believed it. I was surprised that she might actually do it, but I thought to myself, we're going to go for it. So I believed in my desire. I believed in that. Did I believe in myself? That's debatable. So I told her, look, this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. You're probably laughing like, oh my God, this sounds so cheesy. But if in the moment with her, she feels my energy, it's not going to be cheesy. She's going to like it. So it's a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. Like, we like each other. We should spend more time with each other. I was actually not in town for that long either, so I had that reason to add on. And so I was like, you know what? I'm only passing through for the week. I'm only staying for a couple days, and I just love to see you. She's like, well, we could see each other another time. And I'm like, yeah, but we're here right now. We should live in the moment, and we should enjoy our time together now, right? Life is short, live your life, YOLO. These kind of mentalities are going to help you to get a girl to skip her schedule. And what's great is that everyone wants an adventure. Everyone wants to feel like they're in a movie and that this is their moment to do something that is out of the ordinary and they can truly live life like it is in the movies. So I sold that to her. And I just kept throwing it at her. And eventually she's like, okay, fine. I was like, okay, cool. Then I got her to skip it. And the great thing about if you do get her to skip her schedule. Now, I talked about this in the advanced module where you can possibly, kiss a girl or take her home. One of the ways that you do this is by building up the emotions to the point where she actually is ready to go home with you even so quickly. And you have to give kind of a world-class experience. Well, one of the ways to give a world-class experience and build up the emotions to the point where she is willing to do something so fast because she feels like it's right is that you get her to skip something, because when you get someone to skip something, they're sacrificing something for you, and that's a sign of affection. If someone gives you their time, especially at the cost of something else, and their emotions at the cost of something else, that means they value that much more highly, so it's called compliance. And when you build up compliance with someone, they're much more likely to future comply with you. So if you get her to skip her schedule for you, well, you have a bigger responsibility. You better really give it to her, both in experience and in bed, hopefully. But besides just having a larger task on your hands, she's going to be more excited to spend time with you. And so because she was so excited to spend time with me because I seduced her so well, and then she skipped something to be with me, our connection just skyrocketed. And then it got really sexual, and we got really, really into each other. And then at some point we started making out. And then at another point, we were actually walking around campus and furiously making out. And I pushed her against the wall in a really romantic way. And she looked at me like she wanted to eat me. And we kept making out. And then as we moved on from that part of the campus where we made out, she just randomly turned towards a building and just looked at it. And my intuition just kicked in. And I was like, you want to go in there? And she's like, sure. So I dragged her into the building, and it was an empty building, and it looked like it might have been abandoned on campus and not fully built. And we started making out again, and then I just said, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And I told her to suck my dick. And I got her to get on her knees, and I was like, get on your knees. And I just took off my pants. Now, this is very risky and advanced, so you need to be careful and understand if you're in the right situation or not. But it was definitely the right situation. And she started sucking my dick, pretty much in public. So it was a fantastic experience, large in part because I got her to skip her schedule. And I got to build that compliance. But I wouldn't have gotten her to skip that schedule if I hadn't recognized that she really liked me. If I hadn't known, you really got to sell it, and you got to have something that's also skippable, okay? And then once you do sell it, you have to know what your end goal is. And my end goal was, look, I'm in town for so long. I only have so long to actually seduce her, so I'm just going to go for it, right? I was willing to go all the way. If you want to play it more safe and more consistently, I would advise against doing this too often, or in any situation where it's not clear that you have some wiggle room and it's not clear that she really likes you. If you don't have those two things, then I wouldn't go for the schedule skip. But in that instance, I had all the right things and the right ingredients, so I went for it. And I went for the hard sale. So if you do meet a girl and you want to have an instant date, and you do find that she has some skippable obligation or errand, and she really likes you, maybe toss out the soft sale first, because when you first try it, you're not going to be that confident in it. So just casually toss it out there, and then see how she reacts to it. And then if you get the intuition that you want to try it, even if maybe not all the signs are there, but you just want to give it a try, then go for it. But just know you really got to sell it to her, and you got to give her a reason why going with you is better. So tell her it's going to be an amazing time. Speak about how, you know, life is short and we just need to enjoy it. Give her a plan of what you guys are going to do. You know, say, look, we're going to go for a walk on the beach, or, you know, we're going to go grab a drink and we're going to seduce each other. We're going to have a great time. Or, hey, what's your favorite activity? Let's go do that. I want to take you to randomly do something. You know, I have never done this before, and it'll be exciting for me, and I don't even know why I'm doing it right now, but have this belief that you're doing something that is adventurous and it's fun, even if you do have obligations. But this is seduction. This is about adventure and sexiness and danger and excitement. And if you sell that emotion to her, and if you have the room to sell it to her, then you're going to get her to skip her schedule, and you can have an instant, and you can have an amazing seduction that you couldn't have had if you had gone about it the normal way. Now, just remember, most of the time, though, you're not going to be doing this. This is 1 in like 20, 30 tries you're going to be going for it. You can just go for it anytime if you want and get that practice, but it's not going to be that common. But when you do get it, it's magic. Okay, that's the bonus module on getting her to skip her schedule and to lead into an instant date and have an awesome adventure. Hope you enjoyed the video, and I'll see you soon. Ciao.